Hey everyone, and welcome to Jesus and Jean podcast. I'm your host, Molly Jean, and today we're going to be talking about some exciting news. We're going to do a little bit of an update, so stick around. It's going to be a great show. Okay, it is a brand new year. It is 2024. I love the new year because for me, it's the hope and the promise of kind of a clean slate. The things that you felt like you failed or you didn't accomplish get left behind in a chapter that can come to a close. And then also you can celebrate and get excited about the things that you did accomplish and be excited for the things you will accomplish in 2024. Let's get excited. God is doing some great things. Even though the world, if you watch the news, looks a little bit scary, that doesn't mean that God isn't working. It doesn't mean that God isn't moving and making waves. Those goals and those ambitions can look just like a flat surface because we are really busy, and so sometimes it may not look like those things that we are trying to accomplish are happening or happening very quickly. Or in that boat where you're like, wow, another year has passed and I am still doing the same old. I did accomplish something. I had a part in this. I think we should try to focus on the positive. I think being grateful for what you have really just brightens your outlook on life. And that's not to say that we can't be frustrated in circumstances that are less than stellar. It doesn't mean that we can't voice complaints or things that we feel like aren't going well. It just means when you are grateful and you can look at life through that lens, some of those circumstances, you will find a way to be joyful in them. Does that make sense? I've got a new artwork up here. You probably can't see it because the lights in here are so bright, but it actually talks about circumstances. It says, give thanks in all circumstances. And it's 1 Thessalonians 5:18. So I saw that in a thrift store and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have this. So I don't know who the author or who made this because I found it in a thrift store. If you did that, let me know. So anyway, a little update. I tend to get very grieved in December, so that's why you guys didn't see me here. I had a lot of thoughts. I had things that I wanted to share with you, but I try to sit in this seat and be the most authentic I can be. And the things I get grieved about, if you've been here since the beginning, you know what I am talking about. You probably watched the episode that explained it. But I don't celebrate Christmas. And from Thanksgiving to the end of December, I am very grieved about that holiday. And I'm not going to go into it. In the past, I've shared about that just as me being authentic, because that is authentic to who I am and what I believe in, just sharing information. And believers, people who are in the Word, who love Jesus, who try to follow God as best they can, are not very kind about it when I've shared in the past. And so this year I decided I won't share anything about it, but if you're curious as to why I get grieved during that season, that season, get grieved during that season, or why I don't celebrate, there is a video from a couple years ago that my brother and I did called The Christmas Pill, and you should be able to find it pretty easily. Actually, it was one of our highest viewed episode, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, but here's a new year, so I'm here and I'm excited, and I think that God has a lot in store for us. I know that the world is really heavy. there's a lot going on and not all of it is happy. It can be sometimes difficult to know that God is actually working in all circumstances. Just because we can't see what he is doing does not mean that he is not working. It doesn't mean that his hand is not on that situation. It does not mean that his eyes don't see, because his eyes see everything. His ears hear everything. He knows. And he has a plan, even when we think all is lost. Even when we think, wow, this cannot get any worse. He's got a plan. He's got the solution before it was ever on our radar to be a problem. So I just want to encourage you with that even when times are rough, he has a plan. I don't know what his plan is. I know that that's a comment I get when I say things like this, like that God has a solution to the plan before we ever knew it was going to be a problem. And they're like, well, what's the plan? Well, I'm not God, so I don't personally know the plan, but I trust him. He has never not come through. He has been faithful from the get. Why wouldn't I trust that in every circumstance, in every situation, he's got me? You know what I mean? So there's your update. We have some exciting news. We're going to have a friend on the podcast. I am so excited. We're going to talk about the church today in the U.S. and her thoughts on it. And obviously I have thoughts and opinions on it as well. And we're just going to chat about that. And I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation. That's all I'm going to say. I'll keep you on the edge of your seats so that you'll tune in and you'll watch. So we're going to talk about that. See you next time. Have a great rest of your day. This is Jesus and Jean podcast. I'm your host, Molly Jean.